You need to give up on perfection. I need to give up on perfection. It took me like 5 to 10 minutes just to set up the camera. We stay so focused on getting everything just right that by the time we actually get to doing the thing that we want to do, we're critiquing every word that comes out of our mouth, trying to make sure that everything is perfect and everything looks a certain way and that we move a certain way or maybe say certain things. Perfection is cool, but imperfection impacts people. You wanna know why? Imperfection is what every single one of us represents. We are all imperfect. I'm trying to record a video, or I'm trying to shoot some content, or I'm just trying to make a song, and I get really pulled into my head. And I know a lot of us do this. We get so pulled into our heads because we want everything to just be a certain way. We always want everything around us and everything in our lives to be a certain way. And in my last video, I talked about being a child and allowing yourself to just be and allowing things to just happen the way that they happen and not perfecting everything. What we all are as human beings, what we all are as people is imperfect. Those imperfections are the little things that we look at as bad or we look at as not able to be accepted, but really it's showing the vulnerabilities that allows us to connect with people deeper. It allows us to connect with people and relate to them. I know so often I get stuck in my head even turning on this camera because I always feel like what I have to say, or no, I'm sorry. See, I'm even doing it right now. I always feel like the things that I want to say have to come out a certain way, and I didn't mean to rhyme, but it did. Everything has to come out a certain way in my head, and everything has to look a certain way, and I have to have on a certain outfit, and I have to do all these things very specifically. But really, that's halting true, authentic me. It's halting who I am as a person, because when I try to correct everything and when I try to make everything look and be a certain way, it's sometimes so perfect that it comes off in the video. Things can come off as too perfect if that's what you're trying to make it, and maybe that's your intention. You know, everybody has a different intention with what they're doing. If you want to change the world, if you want to maybe just change how people hear music or change how people see art, or change how people do anything. If you want to do something and make it unique to yourself, the only way you can make things unique to you is by allowing your imperfections to bleed through. When you allow your true character and you allow who you really are to bleed through everything you do, that's your work, that's the way that you eat, that's the way that you talk and look at people. When you allow who you are to really bleed through, it differentiates you from the rest of the class. It differentiates you from the rest of the crowd that might be doing the same thing. I am shooting videos right now that a lot of people would label as motivational. But how can I be different? How can I make people look at me and say, well, you know what he's doing, it sounds like what other people are doing, but he does it in a different way. Maybe it's the way that I'm talking. Maybe it's the fact that I'm letting you know that as I'm recording this right now, I'm pretty anxious and I'm overthinking a lot about every word that's coming out of my mouth. We overthink everything. We want everything to be a certain way all the time that we overthink every single thing. For a second there, I just did something that I don't usually do, where I was so focused in on what I was saying that I forgot like I was even speaking. And then you get to listen to your own words come out, and listening to yourself sometimes sounds weird because you don't really listen to yourself. Not everything has to be perfect. Not everything has to work out a certain way. Not everything has to be the right thing or the right way or done in a certain way. What you need to do is just start. Whatever that thing is that you're holding off, whatever that dream or goal that you've always wanted to do and it's in your head and you might have written it down or talked about it with a significant other or a friend, whatever that thing is inside of you that you were holding off on doing because you want it to be a certain way or work out a certain way, just do it. Just do it. The amount of times that I've seen myself and other people around me say, I'm gonna release a project when I got this amount of songs done, or I'm gonna put out content when I have like a whole bunch of videos out. And it's like, just start with what you got. Just start with what you have. The best creators, the best and most inspirational people, the entrepreneurs, they didn't just say, oh, well, it's all gonna lay out, it's all gonna be perfect, and it's all gonna work out just like this. There might have been some people, but majority of the people who we look up to in this world, they didn't know what they were doing. They just did it, and eventually it made sense. Even right now, me shooting this video doesn't make a lot of sense to me right now, what I'm talking about, what I'm doing, or anything like that. But the faster that I do it, the more that I do it, the repetition, the more that you do something, the more of what you want to see might actually come out because you're not holding yourself back. Perfection makes us hold back who we truly are. Perfection makes us hold back what we really want to say. Perfection is the detriment to our lives. And as soon as we remove perfection from everything and just allow ourselves to breathe a little bit, allow yourself to just breathe and be and just accept who you are and accept that you are exactly where you are right now and you can't control it. That's going to be the one thing that you don't regret. We regret things that already happened, but you can't control what already happened. It's behind you. That's why it's what already happened. It's back there. You can't control it. Let it be. Don't get so fostered in the idea of wanting to control what happens in the future, because regardless of how much you control something, you never really have control over anything. And that's one of those things that really bothers me so much all the time. I always want control over every single situation in my life. I want control over what people think of me. I want control over how my videos come out. And I want control over so many things. But at the end of the day, we really don't have control the way that we think we do, because even when you try to make everything work out a certain way, there's always another way to look at it. There's always other ways to look at things. There's always other ways to execute things. And when you try to be perfect, perfection puts you in tunnel vision, and it doesn't allow you to see the bigger picture. It doesn't allow you to see what's outside of the tunnel. Maybe there's trees on the side. Maybe there's animals that you haven't even seen outside. You know what I mean? Like, perfection is that tunnel vision, and you need to knock down the tunnel and see what's around you. Start now. Don't hesitate with what you want to do just because you want it to work out a certain way. Don't hesitate because you want things to be perfect. Do inside of you what you feel the most called to do, and act on that rather than acting on wanting everything to be a certain way.